love, unity, civilization, and total chaos.
Yeah, where are we on? We're on 3. It's the 7th of December, 2017. My name is Richard Speziale.
And I'm Jeannie.
And it's been 2 months since a trend and a change started taking over this country.
It's so annoying.
Aren't you glad that all these men are getting their comeuppance? Aren't you glad that all these guys are being held accountable?
It's nice, but it's like, why all of a sudden now? It's just, the Me Too thing just became so trendy. And I get why, but at the same time, I just kind of like, it's getting annoying. I feel like, where's the real news? It's just turned into such a soap opera.
Well, you don't consider it news? I mean, it is news.
It is
this
news.
Is happening
it's
to
like,
big people.
Yeah, it is definitely happening to a lot of big people.
Somebody's sending me texts just as we get on the air.
Who's
but anyway.
that? Anyway, so...
Don't send me texts. I'm busy here. Talking to Jeannie.
No, it's just, I really believe that there should be some sort of like statute of limitations that the ethics committee should, kind of investigate stuff into before they could really,
What is that? What would you say is the statute of limitations?
Maybe 5 years, 10 years, something like that. Like when you start. I mean, I think Roy Moore is guilty as all get out.
So speaking of 10 years, the young lady who was harassed by him when she was 14. Now she said she was so ashamed of it and so scared, she didn't tell her mother for 10 years.
And
she did not tell her own mother.
It's different when you're children, but I mean, it just
should there be a statute of limitation for people abused as children then?
There should be to some extent, yes, and because most states.
Because that was 40 years ago.
Because most states do, in order to actually prosecute a case. Because Roy Moore, whatever he's accused of now, he can't be convicted of because the statute of limitations is just so far off at this point.
I don't specifically know about Alabama law.
Yeah, but 30 or 40 years for any state, that's too long. Most of it's
most places. Some states have no statute of limitations.
For sexual.
Yeah, every state has a different set of laws.
But I would just say most. Usually after 5-10 years, depending on the minor, then it's like time it takes before 18 or after 18. It's very different for each state. But basically, most states, it has to be brought within 5 to 7 years with evidence or something.
So you don't think, just so I'm clear now, you don't think that statute limitation should apply to people who are abused as children, as minors?
I can't really say. It's a really hard thing to...
That's
say,
the tricky thing with statute of limitations.
Especially because with minors, it's even...
And that makes it a very serious crime.
Yeah, because I think with minors, it's a completely different story because especially when you see the USA Gymnastics and all the scandal they're going through.
Right, which I haven't followed at all.
No, it's interesting because the doctor has been abusing gymnasts for 30 years, which is absolutely despicable.
A man, another man in power.
Yeah, but these are women or young ladies that have really lofty goals, and he really took advantage of them because they're under enough pressure from their coach.
A power figure who they are afraid of and won't go against.
Yeah, because
that's where most of these guys. That's the category that most of these guys fall into. It's not only powerful guys that sexually harass, but it's usually the powerful guys that get away with it because they're in power and victims are afraid. A 14-year-old girl is not going to go after the assistant attorney general of the state.
Yeah.
And as I said, she was so scared, she didn't tell her mother. She did not tell her mother for 10 years.
But it's just I wonder why it's all happening now like a flood. It's kind of like
Weinstein opened up the floodgates. Yeah.
I know, it just became... But it's not just Weinstein that opened up the floodgates. Like, no one has given credit to, the first person that... went against Trump or, Jennifer Flowers or any of these people. I feel like they've just been forgotten.
Well, there
You know?
are a number of women that
That's
have
Clinton.
made charges against Trump. It depends on which list you look at as to how many numbers there are. Because some accounts there's 16, some accounts there's 17, some accounts there's 19
I think
or 20.
One of the ladies now was harassed by Trump in the 80s on a plane.
I have them
Yeah,
all
because
here.
I remember
I
one
have
of
a list
them-
here.
one-
Now,
that's probably something somewhere in the early 1990s on a plane or something.
Right. Yeah, so there's any number of women. Now, there's a 20th accuser. There's a list that says 19. There's a Newsweek story. Maybe the Newsweek story isn't so reputable, but I put it up because of the title to bring your attention that
No, but, like-
it's also former staffers, it's also
Yeah.
children. Now, the 20th woman, the woman who isn't on many of these lists, is a woman who wishes to remain anonymous. She has not come forward, not revealed her name. She claims that Trump raped her when she was 13 years old.
Oh, it was probably from the plane on the Lolita Express.
On the Lolita Express. And if you don't know what we're talking about, just
Yeah.
Google. Okay, that's enough of that slide. We stay on the slides for far too long. Bring it back to us. That's a still picture. We'd like to see us again. Yeah, if you don't know who we're talking about, Google Jeffrey Epstein. Google the Lolita
yeah.
Express. Not only Trump, Clinton, Prince Harry, and other prominent men, famous worldwide, and that is maybe why this story has gotten buried. But anyway, as part of that big scandal, young lady who was 13 at the time claimed she was raped by Trump. 4 days after the election, she said she had to remain anonymous because of threats made to her and her family. 4 days after the election, withdrew the charges because her lawyer said threats to her family. And these threats aren't, a threat can be anything. Can be a nasty note, can be a bullet hole, can be a noose hung on the door. You could come home and, your cat's neck is broken.
Yeah.
It's always a subtle thing. It's never a direct line to the person who's actually threatening you, but it's always chilling, and the message does get across. And again, these are powerful men we're dealing with.
Yeah, but Trump's got a whole bunch of other crap that he's going to get impeached for anyway.
Well,
especially
we
with
think.
Russia.
Yeah, we think.
mean,
Now,
like,
yeah.
he's like pleading guilty.
Now, we're going to get into that. As
Yeah.
for my prediction about Christmas, I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 weeks.
But
the
it's gonna
impeachment.
happen,
But it is looking really bad. So
yeah.
that part of my prediction is pretty much in line. It's looking bad. It's not looking good. I think it's just an even chance of him getting impeached, or his staff going for the 25th Amendment. His staff realizing that we don't trust him.
We can't do this anymore.
We can't do this anymore. We can't humor him.
You noticed he had a lisp yesterday?
Oh, God, yeah. What happened to him?
That lisp, it's like
And it wasn't there at the beginning of the
Yeah.
speech. Now, most people are blaming it on loose dentures. That could well be it. Could also be a dry mouth. But it's weird because it came up. The first half of the speech, he was great. The last half of the speech, he was really like that.
My guess is that, I don't know what it is actually, but a lot
Does
of
cocaine do that to your mouth?
no, but
I don't know.
he doesn't do drugs. I don't think President Trump does drugs. He's a very
Why does he
anti-drug.
sniffle so much, though?
He eats shitty food,
He eats
but
crappy food,
I
yeah.
really don't think he does drugs. But everyone's been saying, oh, he has Parkinson's or he has slight symptoms of dementia. So that's like a lot of what the liberal media has said.
Yeah.
A lot of the conservative media have said it's like dentures.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
It's something, and it might be just that he's getting old, It's
and
a tough job.
It's so funny. He's like, I'm in perfect health. I'm in great health. And he goes after, like, what's his face? He goes after Clinton.
Right, yeah.
And saying, oh, she's too weak. She has no stamina. I'm like, that girl has way more stamina than you.
Yeah.
And she eats better than you, too.
And on his first overseas trip, he had to take a nap on the first day. Now, I know overseas trips can be exhausting and everything, but he was going after her for her stamina. After 1 day overseas, he skipped an important event in, I believe, the United Arab Emirates,
UAE.
because he had to take A nap.
And you know what's really funny? It just makes me laugh. He's done more golfing
Oh yeah, he's done
in the course of the year than he has. Then I think Obama
Then he's
has.
been in the damn Oval Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's really funny. He's always in
Yeah.
Bedminster every weekend.
Now, I just heard tonight, just before we came on the air, that he is actually going to submit to a medical doctor's examination early next year at Walter Reed Hospital, as all the other presidents so far have. He's the first president that has avoided getting a checkup by a government doctor.
Really?
And it's usually, a top doctor in the military because he's the commander-in-chief. Supposedly, he will submit to a full physical early next year at Walter Reed Hospital.
He has to.
I don't know if it has to. I don't know if it's in the Constitution that he must, but it kind of looks suspicious that, I mean, his regular doctor is totally suspicious because he put out this glowing piece of paper, which was a joke as to he will be the most fit and physically fit president to ever take office.
I heard he's gained a lot of weight since he's been in office.
Well, he claimed to be 230 originally on that doctor's letter. It was 230, and everybody was guessing he looks 270. He's a lot, yeah.
And now he's just gross.
Yeah, he is. Well, he doesn't get any exercise except for golfing. So the big question is now, when are all the accusations going to catch up with him? When will the chickens come home to roost?
I have no idea. Oops, sorry, Manisha.
Well, let's see when it happens. I think it's soon. As I said, I told you this, and I probably told you this on the air 2 months ago. Harvey Weinstein is just the beginning, and it's just going to snowball from here. He's going to, for the next 6 months, we're going to hear a lot of names and be shocked. We heard about Matt Lauer. We heard about Charlie Rose.
That was just so sudden. And I'm actually saddened that I don't get to see Charlie Rose.
Well, I don't know about Charlie Rose.
Really?
I've spoke with people who worked with him, and they were pretty surprised. As for Matt Lauer had a button underneath his desk to lock his office door
that's
from
what I
the
heard.
inside.
And Meredith Vieira jokingly said, "Oh, look at all those sex toys that you had in your office." But that was because they had like Dr. Ruth or something. That's what he was using the excuse
somebody
for.
had to know about Matt Lauer. I suppose somebody had to know about Charlie Rose if it was that widespread. But somebody had to know about Matt Lauer. And also the statement from NBC was very curious because it said nobody in current management had any knowledge of these accusations. Current management. That implies somebody in past management knew damn well about this.
You know
so I think it was a well-known fact.
who I do feel...
Just like the Weinstein thing came up on cartoons and there was a couple of different series. I think 30 Rock made reference to him. It was well known in the industry. So,
but the thing that bothers me is that if you're white and you're older and you're male and you were in a powerful position, like something that you never thought about 20 years ago could like come back to haunt you, and it's just that's kind of disarming. It's like if
you should have thought about it 20 years ago.
Say like you're VP of MNN or something, or you're VP of something, and then I'm like 40. I'm like, oh, Rich touched me in an inappropriate place in a dark alley for like 5 seconds.
But that's what the
and I could get you fired.
Yeah, well, that's what the conservatives are charging. This is all fake news.
It's not a fake news. It's just a bit of a witch hunt in a sense. You know what I mean?
I disagree with the term witch hunt.
I think witch hunt, but it's like a bit much. To the point. But the thing is,
it's not a bit much because I don't have anything in my past.
No, but I'm just
about.
saying, like,
so if you, it's a big thing if you've done something.
But if it's so slight, like just like that, you know what I mean? It's just like kind of like, or that, like, you know what I mean? It's just.
Well, you can read through the charges. Some women are charging Trump with making them uncomfortable.
No, but when it gets
pinching
to 20,
their ass, kissing them forcibly, that kind of thing.
Especially the Billy Bush video is coming to haunt him. By the way, I actually felt bad for Billy Bush getting fired.
I felt bad for Billy Bush because You know, he was doing his job 20 years ago.
Back then, when he was a junior
Yes.
reporter,
Right,
and he had,
to stroke the celebrity, to make jokes with them, to make them feel good. That was his job. He would have gotten fired for doing anything else.
Yeah,
he went
exactly.
along with it, but 20 years later, it comes back to bite him in the ass. I thought that was unfair. Also, the very interesting thing is that Trump is now questioning whether
the
that's him
legitimacy of the tape. But the lady from
is that's him on the tape? It's so clear.
Yeah,
okay,
Billy
the
Bush
stuff he
even
said-
wrote in the New York Times an op-ed about
Right.
it. You know,
Sowing
it happened.
doubt. Sowing doubt. Yeah, I never had any doubt, but there are all these people out there who want to believe that.
Oh my God. Why did he apologize for it 2 days later? I'm sorry.
I mean, the whole thing with fake news, I mean, we've been hearing about Russia for over a year now. Allegations, suspicions about Russia, Trump working with the Russians, Trump being Putin's puppet, okay? And we've heard nothing but for the past 12, 14 months. And sometimes it gets to me and I wonder, hold it, if I'm hearing nothing but from certain networks, can this all be true? Could it be fake news? You know, am I being played by all of this media? But then I turn around and take a look at the guilty parties and how guilty they're acting.
Oh
and
my God, yeah, it's
Jared
amazing.
Kushner failed to disclose how many times on how many forms. He forgot about, a financial disclosure. Oh, he forgot to put down $100 million.
Even Junior's like,
yes.
oh, it's about adoption. Oh, it's about this. Oh, I never told. Now it's, oh, I never told my dad about any of this.
Up till now, it's been, well, there was no collusion and we never met with the Russians. Now it's like, well, we met with met with the Russians. There is collusion, and it doesn't matter.
It's like
the president is above the law.
It's like trail of diarrhea, and soon they're going to hit the diaper.
Yeah. Like
it's a big bunch of shit.
It's sooner or later, it's going to hit Trump. Now, I'm wondering if the Republicans are keeping him just arm's length away until they can get something like the tax bill. And the tax bill seems very, very important to them. Why? Because they can reimburse their rich donors who want huge tax cuts for the rich. Because the tax bill screws everybody else. There's some very harmful language about that could affect the Supreme Court decision on abortion, language about declaring fetuses human beings. There's all kinds of weird language in there.
Did it pass to the point where it's going to take effect in 2019?
No, it has been passed by the Senate. It has been passed by the House. They now have, but two totally different bills. Now they're supposed to combine the bill. Last week they were acting like, well, it's a done deal. The Senate passed it and the House passed it last month, so now it's a done deal. No, they have to merge these two.
There's going to be fight.
Yeah.
Depending on the states.
And that's why I'm saying it's not a done deal, because all of these people, I think they take a break over the holidays. They go home for Christmas. I don't know how many are going to be taking town hall meetings, but they're going to hear. They're going to hear from it, because this tax bill only does millionaires and billionaires.
What the hell do they need, like, a tax break
for? They don't. They absolutely don't. But they're going down this line that it will trickle down if we give more money to these corporations that are making record profits. If we give more money to them, they'll generate more jobs. It has never happened before. This has been around since the Reagan days. I can tell you it trickled down, did not work in the Reagan days, did not work under Bush, and it's not going to work now. And there's no reason, and there's no reputable economists who even support this, except the Republicans are pushing this like crazy because they need to do something for their donors. I mean,
I'm telling you right now, I don't think the Republicans are so not going to get the House. And
I think this may be the end of the Republican Party, because they have so sold out.
Because
they've sold out for Trump, and they've sold out to the billionaires. They were always in the billionaires' pocket, but now they're in bed giving them a blowjob and whatever metaphor you want to give them.
It's gotten so ridiculous. I mean, the fact that, like, Doug Jones is going to take Alabama, I can't wait. It's going to be so hilarious.
I hope you're right.
I don't think that people are that dumb. People aren't that dumb.
Well, we've had this open question. Are people that dumb? Hey, Alabama, I'm not saying anybody from Alabama is dumb or anybody in any particular state is dumb. And you can call us up at 212-757-1483. 212-757-1483. Call us up and let us know, because there's only about 9 minutes left in the show. But we've been speculating, are the people in Alabama dumb enough to elect this lousy kid fucker? Okay?
The Republican Party's like endorsing him again.
Endorsing him, yeah. They went from, we can't, to, we'll let we'll give him money and we'll let the people of Alabama decide. Now, will they decide? The point I was trying to get to is 70. A recent poll I saw. I don't trust polls 100%, but
was it a Quinnipiac poll?
It wasn't a Quinnipiac poll, but 71% of the people responding to this poll said they do not believe the charges against Roy Moore. And if you haven't been following this really carefully, the charges against Roy Moore are pretty credible. It's not one person coming forward. It's a bunch of people. They have physical evidence.
Yeah.
And the original Washington Post story referenced 30 different people. They checked the story out with 30 different people.
Even people that worked with him in the 70s.
Yeah.
Why would they lie?
They spoke to the
Why would they lie?
They spoke to the cop that patrolled that mall that he got banned from, where they were on the lookout. Look out for this lawyer guy who tries to pick up the teenage girls.
Exactly.
They spoke to a cop who was on duty, and that was part of his stuff. Yeah, that was part of his territory. He said, yes, we were all aware that this guy, lawyer guy from the state capitol, was around the mall picking up young girls.
I'm surprised.
And he doesn't deny it. He says, I got permission from their mothers.
And at this point, it's like, there's a special place in hell for people like that,
So
as
says Ivanka the purse.
Oh my God, you know what's so funny? Now that the new, White House chief of staff is limiting his time with Kushner and Trump and Ivanka and his daughter and his son.
Trying to get him to do some work and get his head out of the clouds.
Yeah, so he's limiting his
I think it's too little, too late. And Kushner and Jr., as you said, they're in deep stuff.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
They're in deep doo-doo.
Yeah. And, the thing that Trump Jr. tried to pull the other day is that, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about the conversation with my father because of attorney-client privilege.
Privilege, yeah.
He's not a lawyer. His father's not a lawyer. There wasn't a lawyer in the room, but somehow, I think this is a tactic that somebody learned in New York courtrooms, where sometimes that lawyers will throw out anything just to delay or just try to throw a spanner in the works, just to try and gum up the works. Throw out an absurd assertion like, I have attorney-client privilege with my father. Neither of them do. And
they're an idiot.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of idiots.
So just today, or just this week rather, one of the accusers, Summer Zervos, there was a hearing in New York, and they are still trying to decide, if Trump can be subpoenaed and if he can be called to testify in a state trial.
About what?
About harassment.
Oh, I'm sure he can, because they said in 1992 with Bill Clinton, based on crimes prior to his presidency, that he can be called.
Yes. So most the president's lawyers are saying otherwise, but most legal experts look to that very decision, that very thing you just cited. So sooner or later, we hope he's going to get dragged into court and answer for his allegations. There was supposed to be something going on today in court, and that's upstate. I don't believe anything happened today.
But you know what's what do you think about Franken? That's so annoying.
I think it's really sad. I think he did the right thing. I wish he didn't have to go, but it's the right thing, because if
he campaigned so hard too.
Yeah, and he's done good work for women's rights too. But if this party is saying
32.
32 other senators called him out. But they can't credibly call for anything to happen to Trump if they have somebody in their own ranks who has credible accusations.
Gillibrand was like, he has to resign. Even Gillibrand
has actually said that she feels that Clinton should have resigned, even though she was
well, yeah.
actively defending Clinton back in the day. Now she feels that he should have resigned. And this is a new world we're looking at. Like I said, 2 months ago, the world kind of changed. Society kind of changed. I don't know if it's going to be a permanent change, but I think there's going to be. First of all, I hope that a lot of powerful men are going to be careful. Like I said, you could use me as an example. I've been around for a long time. I'm not in a position of power, so I've never been able to abuse my power.
That's what I was like saying. If you were VP of some network,
my conscience is clear. I mean, I'm sure I've said insensitive things. I'm no angel or anything, but I've never done anything to anybody who wasn't consenting, approaching sexual harassment. So. I'm one of those people who can think back and say, well, okay, my conscience is clear, and I'm not going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
There's a lot of men who don't have that clear conscience.
Yeah.
They're thinking about all the things they do, all the things they did in the past, and they're also thinking about what kind of a settlement can we give these ladies?
It depends. Like, if you're Bill O'Reilly, you have all the fucking money in the world.
What do we think that $32 million went for?
But
it wasn't for a pinch in the ass.
But what I'm saying is that he is gone. You know what I mean? He's done. Like,
he had to, and his network was the hotbed of that kind of activity.
With Roger Ailes. How come no one ever talks about Roger Ailes anymore? Because I think that was one of the absolute first catalysts.
Didn't he die?
Yeah, but but that was like one of the first.
The accusations and he set the tone for the whole place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but that was like one of the first major accusations, and then of course Weinstein, and the little Me Too movement. But it's just...
You're belittling that movement.
But it's a bit much. I just feel like it's just a bit much.
That's the person of the year, and I'm glad it's the person. I'm glad Trump didn't get person of the year. His accusers,
he thought he was,
his accusers got person of the year. So at least that happened.
But anyone that's ever gone through anything like that, it's really sad, and I don't discount them. But it's just like when it's happening all at once, and I don't know. I don't know what to say, because I want to hear other news. I like to turn on BBC The World.
I was going to say, I suggest turn on the BBC
World. You hear about things that are going on, like in Libya. There's a lot of things,
they
bad
also have
things
a website
going on
that
in Libya.
You can read too.
Yeah.
But in our last 20 seconds, I want to encourage everybody to follow us on Twitter at dvtv live. If you have any feelings about anything we've said this week, or any other week, or
tweet
anything
us.
at all,
We'll
tweet
respond.
us at dvtv live. Yes, we will respond. We will be back next week, same time, same channel, bigger studio. How about that? Until then, this is Rich.
And Jeannie. Bye.
Good night. Good news.